So mainstream Egyptologists claim that the pyramids. So the pyramids are better. So apparently the pyramids have been there. Welcome back. No messing around. Let's get straight into it. More weird and creepy TikToks. Let's go.
Vibrates at a frequency, and if you know that frequency, you can control things. This is the moth, and this is diagramming all the frequencies of the elements and what their vibrational frequencies are, and the numbers that measure those frequencies. And they're all the numbers we get from looking at these ancient traditions that recur over and over and over again.
And so through this technology, they're able to move stones or cut stones or all the above?
All the above.
We call these transducers, which is just a fancy word for speakers. These speakers, they only work at one frequency, and this frequency is 40 kilohertz, which we shouldn't be able to hear. Only bats, dogs, and other animals should be able to hear 40 kilohertz. But because the ultrasound is so powerful, if we put some particles, they should be kept in midair with the power of sound.
It's so clear that we don't use frequency like we're supposed to. Like someone must know, and we just don't. We don't use it.
Хоть он вылезает, хоть и неси его назад. Неси, не дай.
If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. It would help me so much. Thank you, guys.
So did anybody else notice that the water had questioned their intentions after that rock landed, bro? I know you was probably too busy thinking nice. But yeah, that giant question mark popped up, and then before they even threw the rock in there, that water kind of looked like Jello a little bit, and then just the way that it had separated, bro, kind of looked like they opened up a portal to a different dimension.
I'm pretty certain that's just what stagnant water does, or algae on the surface. There's nothing weird about that.
Watch how blown away Joe Rogan is when Paul Harvey from 1965 predicts the future.
Paul Harvey.
If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness. I'd subvert the churches first. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve. Do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. Wow. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves. Well, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Wow. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
What year was that?
It was 65, but...
Holy... 1965. That's amazing.
It sounds a lot like the world today from 1965. That is a wild prediction.
I'm sorry, but I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but this gave me chills when I noticed it. He's got 3 hands. Have a look on his lap. Look at that. It's there.
There was no one close enough to him to have their hand there instead. Like, what the hell was that? I can't answer that.
4 billion years ago, somebody was on this earth. We talk about the ancient history of Egypt 5,000-6,000 years ago. That's not ancient. That was yesterday. You want to talk ancient? Yeah. Go to South Africa and Asia where they're drilling mines so far down into the earth, which all paleontologists around the world will agree that at that particular deep point in the earth, which they know to be 3.5 to 4 billion years old. Now they're finding handmade artifacts. 4 billion years ago, somebody was on this earth that knew metallurgy, they knew metals, they knew how to mold and to create handmade things. And then when you begin to look at all of the incredible things which are found in the ocean, like off the coast of Okinawa, there are huge temples in the Pacific Ocean. Off the coast of Cuba, there are enormous temples sitting on the ocean floor. And 10 miles north of the island of Bimini in the Bermuda Triangle, in an area that's called the Bahama Banks, is a pyramid sitting on the ocean floor. Now, how many people know that? And most important, how many people give a damn?
3.5 to 4 billion years is such a long time. And you're telling me that we've only been around 5,000 to 6,000 years based on the Bible. Like, where are these artifacts coming from? Dinosaurs were not making metal stuff. Like, I need to know what we were doing 4 billion years ago. It's crazy. It's crazy how flimsy that shit looks. Wow. No one was harmed, apparently.
Have you wondered why The Simpsons shows something and then out of nowhere it actually happens? That's not some lucky guess. That's what they call predictive programming. See, movies, cartoons, shows, they don't just predict the future. They show it to you before it happens, because they have to. That's part of the deal. It's not just entertainment. It's warning, hidden in plain sight. There's this scene in Captain America, right? Times Square. On the screen in the background, there's a mask, a Corona bottle sign, and that spiky little virus symbol. Before any pandemic was even a thing, what are the odds? But here's where it gets deep. Why show it at all? Why put the plan out there? Because, according to some beliefs, evil forces are allowed to mess with this world as long as they tell us first. A preacher once said, Jesus told the devil, "You can have this world, do what you want, but you must tell them first." And that's what they've been doing, hiding truth in fake stories, making it look like just fiction. So when it all happens, we don't question it. We just say, that's weird, and move on. But it's not weird, it's planned, it's a rule, and they've been showing us for years. We just didn't want to see it.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
So we've discussed this in previous videos. This idea of Satanism's rule is to hide it in plain sight, to let you know what's happening before it happens. Because that is apparently the rules, whether it's the rules of the universe or the rules of evil, I don't know how it works. But this is what all Satanists talk about. And it's so clear that we are showing all this stuff in TV. And then it works against us because then I can't talk about that with my friends and they'll be like, oh, you watch too many movies. They're smart with it.
Yes, this will get a lot crazier in 1 second. But first, what in the world are we seeing right here? I like how in 2025, and even a few past years, everything is blatantly in the open for all to see. By the way, this video is entertainment for satire, but right in our face. And we don't think they're using the technology to do something not related to this. And this part's even worse, and I'll tell you why, but in this country right here, they have literal robots, powered by AI, literally building cars without fault, without error. So let me ask you this, if they can build cars, what else can they do? Everything. Do you really believe that your job is going to be secured in 10 years when they're selling robots just like this for what, 10 grand? Say you get paid 60 grand. They could replace you with 6 of you that would never make an error. And you would not be able to find work. You would own nothing. And you would also be happy watching things like this on TV. Everybody you know will be affected. You better find some kind of work or job or side job where you work for yourself and they can't do it better than you. In 2025, nothing is real.
So we've obviously been talking about clones and stuff like that, but what if it is just robots?
Is this a panther caught on camera in the UK? Well, big cat enthusiast Gordon Welsh is convinced that it is, after he filmed the animal in the Scottish countryside. He was just walking along the road when he spotted something that was around the size of a greyhound, or bigger, and he thinks it could be a hybrid panther, so a cross between the big cat and another animal. Now, you might think it's just a cat, but Gordon's a hunting expedition attendant, so insists he knows the difference between a domestic cat, a feral cat, and that cat. He says, to be quite honest with you, most will think you mad, but these things are out there as a certainty. What do you guys think this animal is?
Man, I just feel sorry for this. If it is some hybrid cat/panther, I feel sorry for the cat first. But then this panther's just on his own now in Yorkshire. He's not supposed to be there. Thank you guys. That's it for today and more tomorrow. Take it easy.
Before I fall to the system, I'm gonna try and do good with my gifting and pray to the Lord for some wisdom. Pray. Hopefully someone will listen. Amen.